Don't just dream about paradise. Live it with Fiji Airways. Escape the ordinary with Fiji Airways Cyber Monday sale. Immerse yourself in white sandy beaches or dive deep into coral reefs. Fiji Airways has flights to Nadi starting at just $719 for light and just $749 for value. Discover your tropical dreams at FijiAirways.com. That's FijiAirways.com. From here to happiness, flying direct with Fiji Airways.
Wake up at Holiday Inn Express to a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. Count on all the hot, fresh coffee you need and an incredible breakfast buffet that has something for everyone, like eggs, cinnamon rolls, and even hot, fresh pancakes with all the toppings you crave. Next time, do yourself a favor and stay at a Holiday Inn Express with a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. So, when you wake up at Holiday Inn Express, you'll wake up happy. A part of IHG Hotels and Resorts.
Considering what Star Wars turned into, does anyone even worry about Star Wars Day right now? I don't, right? Do you?
No, not really.
Right.
But I'll tell you why. Because we all went through all the formative years of Star Wars. I mean, we know it. It's all the new stuff that comes afterwards, like give or take. Like, I enjoyed The Mandalorian. I didn't mind the Book of Boba Fett too much because I knew more or less like that character was, well, he was going to be used, was going to feature other things. If anything, it's going to be more retconning. It's going to be more filling in the gaps. And then it's going to be like, you know, whatever you get out of it. That's why I tell my lady it is what it is.
Yeah, it's going to be like the fan service, right? That's what we're going to be getting at this point.
I mean, you know, technically, we got that. Like Rogue One, more or less, was like fan service if you think about it.
Rogue One was absolute fan service for sure.
But it was good. I liked it.
Rogue One compared to everything else right now, it's like way, way better than everything else.
Like I tried to give Solo a chance, but I was like, you know, once again, meh.
Yeah, I completely get that.
I really didn't care, and more or less it's because Lucasfilm's the way they're acting. You know what I'm saying? It's like all of the shit. Like, there's a reason why like certain MCU shows I don't bother watching.
Yeah,
because of the people who are producing it acting really juvenile and shit. Like, yeah, I made it this far. Oh yeah, I can be a jerk to people no matter what I want. Like the main writer of She-Hulk actually is notorious for trying to start stuff with people basically because she's a feminist.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shit right there, that's ridiculous. And then like you got somebody named Pablo Hidalgo that goes at nice name, jackass, going after Star Wars fans to make fun of them and troll them. And it's like, dude, learn from Gamergate if you will. You do not go after the people who purchased your product. The fuck are you doing?
If you think of any other time in history, this is probably the most entertaining. There is constantly something fucking circusy going on that just blows my mind. And like you see people online and it's like their day to day is filled with it, especially like on Twitter. It's just so funny that like they swear that like Elon Musk buying Twitter is going to fucking like change their life. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, dog, it's just a guy that believes that everyone should be able to say whatever the fuck they want. That's fair. Which means that if you have a podcast and you have like funny anecdotal jokes that are a little edge, the algorithm won't partition those off to some like shadow banned area because now the algorithm only is looking for legitimate things that are potentially dangerous. You know, like there's plenty of fucking pornography on there that kids can see, but you can't see my political point of view. That's a little funny to me.
Yep. Don't forget like sharing music, like share like at least like a couple of seconds of music, and then all of a sudden, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we want to know whether you have the permission to do this. And it's like, yeah, I have the permission to do this. It's only 15 seconds. The hell out of here.
Yeah, that's technically legal. You actually have up till 30 seconds to use a licensed piece of music or an unlicensed piece of music.
But you got to figure these people don't understand math and understand timing.
And the algorithm doesn't give a fuck.
Math.
Yeah.
You understand math. You got to learn how to read and you got to fucking know things and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but you get my drift, though. It's like anything that goes against the narrative is deemed pretty much a cardinal sin. And that's how I go with this stuff. Oh, yeah, sure, it's abortion now. And then, of course, it's Elon Musk. And I'm like, I see Elon Musk, and I never am impressed by him. Like any other fucking millionaire running around.
He's saying things that are like common sense, and everyone goes, "Wow, he's a genius," and I go, "Oh yeah, that's right, that's true."
I don't see it. I'm always like,
yeah, like he's that does make sense. I should be able to say what I want. That's funny.
I mean, weird. As long as you're not using actual fucking malice, or you're willfully saying, "Hey, I hate you, and I'm gonna fuck you up," things like that.
Yeah,
you're fine. You just got people. I don't know. Average people are just a lot more sensitive than any of us could be.
Isn't that weird? Do you think that is that a byproduct from? Is that a byproduct from social media being a thing in like people's lives for the last 10 years like that? Like
1,000%.
Yeah, because dude, Moose, I don't know if you remember this, right? But like in film school, I remember people being like, before Facebook had an app, you had to be signed into the website, like on your shitty mobile phone browser, you know?
Yeah.
And people were on that shit all day long, like killing their data just to post like pre-meme, you know, like the ironic dog memes and shit, you know, where it was like a Shih Tzu in front of like a rainbow background, and you were like, what is this? And it just says like, I like cat. It was like, what is this shit? What is this? What are you doing? And people were just like infatuated with it. But then I remember that was the first case in which we saw like adults in film school getting into beefs because they would make some like underhanded, jokey post about who they were working with, obviously. And like literal whole projects went down the shitter because of it. And I thought to myself, like, no one's ever talked shit to somebody before, like on a playground as a kid. You know, like, and maybe that's something that's missing, or is this like we're seeing the remnant reality of like the participation trophy generation growing up, and they don't like it?
To be fair, I don't know whether they actually see. A lot of these people don't know how the internet work either. You know, MySpace opened up that whole thing for them, and then all of a sudden Facebook came in, then Twitter, and everything else, and then like see more as it became a big part of our lives. That stuff that they started to experience, and they didn't understand user responsibility or saying, you know what, it really shouldn't matter if somebody has an opinion that's different than yours. That's just somebody on the internet, or it's just somebody through life. And then of course you got other people who allegedly didn't have a voice at the time, but now everybody has a voice. So you got more noise too. And going back to the way the kids were back in the day, when did your school district get rid of recess? Because my school district got rid of recess. I want to say like when I was in about 7th grade, you know, they wiped out the whole thing about recess.
Yeah, I remember the only time you really had time to do anything fun that wasn't in a class was like lunch just happened to be 45 minutes. So you like, if you ate quick enough, you could just go play basketball or go kick it somewhere, you know?
Or you could be like, fuck these frozen chicken patties. I'm gonna go hoop.
Yeah. Like, yo, is this that rectangle pizza again? Shit, babe, I'm gonna ball it up.
Yeah, I mean, like, at least, and for some reason, schools were like that, though. As soon as, like, lunch was your social period and stuff, they tried to strict that time down, too. It's like, never want you to talk to nobody and shit. It was like, what the fuck is this? I'm in jail?
They nerfed recess.
They patched it. The patch notes. The patch notes were just like, we nerfed it. We nerfed recess. It's lunch now. Fuck off.
We got rid of that shit. Oh, by the way, we want you to go to this dance on Friday night, but we don't want you to do anything fun there.
Isn't it funny how schools turned recess into a class and then called it PE?
Yeah, they did technically.
And they made you wear a fucking uniform and shit.
Where you could see like your ball print on them, like the shorts were mad thin, and you're like, yo, it's freezing out here, dog, and my cock's all shrinked up and shit. And it's like, imagine, did any of you ever have PE like for first period? That was fucking hell during the winter. That was absolute shit. It was nuts. They'd be like, okay, now run the mile. It's like 65 degrees outside, and you're like in shorts and a shirt.
At least you had 65 degrees, man. Shit.
Like,
we
it's
had
like
that nice we had that nice 50 shell. You know?
Oh, that's sick. I used to run into the snow at PE. You kids have it good
naked
these days. Yeah.
Just wearing a pair of Air Max 1s.
Fuck you mean your feet hurt? Run, bitch.
Yeah. You know the Mexican kid in your class that was about to smoke everybody had those like black and white Adidas like soccer shoes on, and you're like, oh, that kid's gonna fucking smoke us, and he'd be done in like 5 minutes, and you're like, what the fuck, dude?
The kid that was running in soccer shoes. That was the kid to wear.
He was done. He had cleats on for PE. You're like, God dang, dude.
Felt every damn stat, boy.
Yeah.
You know it's really crazy though. Like even then, that used to be a requirement too. Now that's a fucking choice. So you see how all the obesity shit just happened all around the whole thing.
I remember my high school. I'll out myself a little bit. I was like a fat kid in high school, and I remember my high school had us weigh ourselves in front of the other students.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you ever want to talk, all these kids are like, I want to go home and kill myself. I'm like, oh yeah, you little bitch. You know, like nothing worse than you just going, wow, that's a lot in front of the other kids. And you're like, oh, man.
205. Whoa, wow. Timmy.
Yeah. What is it, 8th grade? Yeah, that's not good. What do you have, Prader-Willi disease? Prader-Willi disease is also kids like get violent. They get so hungry. Anyway,
I mean,
sad.
You know, they announced that shit. And there was no confidentiality at that point.
No.
Like right now, I mean, that has to be a thing. But long time ago, they didn't give a fuck. But the thing is, you could be fucking shady too if you wanted to. Go, yeah, motherfucker, I'm fat. Deal with it. Take this shit. I like that.
Yeah. More cushion for the pushing, baby.
Yeah, shit. like I told like a bunch of people I know, like this shit. I don't throw a shit. I drop temperature, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is like, if I'm hitting it right, the inertia takes over. I ain't got to do nothing.
Yeah, physics. Use it.
They call me the lava lamp. You know what I mean? I'm just moving at that point. I heat up.
Get the percolating going.
Yeah, I heat up and I just start swishing.
Yeah, proper boil.
It's just so crazy because like it was fucking ruthless back then. Like that's just what it was. Like you just had to deal with it.
But the thing about it is, after you were done, right, you were thankful for it. I was
yeah, like, it kind of it sparked me to like get my shit together, I guess you could say, at some point. You know what I mean?
I mean,
like, it's the stuff that never leaves you. It also kind of makes you a little tougher. You know, like typical cliche, but whatever.
I sit there all the time and I think that I look at my nieces and nephews and I'm like, one, I'm glad they're not punk bitches, but I also know this.
Yeah.
I'm like, what exactly are they teaching other kids in school? Like, what the hell is going on? You know, it's like, what is the lesson of the day?
Could you imagine?
School is just becoming like a glorified like daycare now?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because like, can you imagine what they're teaching you in fucking college now? Like,
oh man,
the shit you should have learned in high school.
Right, the shit you should learn in 8th grade.
That's kind of how it was with us too. Like they gave us those what did they call them? Like the fucking like the basic classes, you know, like the math.
The
those. Yeah. They gave us those classes, and it was shit that you like if I just finished high school the year before or something. Like, oh yeah, like
some of these motherfuckers were like straight up like 18 years old, and they were like, I don't have to take no classes because they just finished like algebra. And you're like, what the fuck?
Like the way they make bricks for other people and then their requirements towards, all of us. It's like, the fuck is going on?
The best part was you don't have your transcripts? I'm like, dog, I'm 25. Why would I have my fucking transcripts with me?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I'm fighting chlamydia right now. Okay? Do you think I have my fucking transcripts, dude? I have my insurance card because I'm an adult.
Well, when it comes to it, though, so basically high school is not high school. College is high school. What a big ass bill, by the way. And
yeah.
So it's like
college is like college is high school. They make you pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even then, over there in other countries, you don't have to pay for college.
It's a weird. It's a very odd time to spectate the world right now. Because like you're seeing these things, I think that I said it on Twitter to one response. I posted something, and we'll talk about that in like the meat of the show because I feel like that deserves its own show. But like I just told somebody like people are stepping outside of their echo chambers, right? Because the world is back to being open completely now. You know, you can go anywhere again. And I think what's happening is it's like overstimulating a baby. You know, babies like cry and they get kind of angry sometimes too. They'll throw stuff like when they're like, 1 to 2 years old because it's too much going on. And I think when you're living in this whirlwind of like this same old repetitive bullshit. So your ego gets like bloated by everybody saying, oh, I agree. You're so smart. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you're so smart. I agree. What happens is you go out into the real world and then everyone goes, what the fuck are you talking about? And then like, you don't know what to do. Like, so somebody like laughing and not knowing how to take what you're saying or laughing at your appearance because you're a man who's 7.5 feet tall, but you're wearing a dress and you have like a 5 o'clock shadow. A little child will look at you kind of odd because their eyes don't know what that is. Right? Because everything in their biology sees like a man in a dress. That's just how kids are. Having kids, I can tell you that right now. That's just how kids are. One of my daughters, we saw this black guy inside of a store, right? And his race is relevant to the character she references, who has a one of those blades from the knee below, like the blades that replace like your amputated leg or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So she's walking and she goes, Dad. And I go, what? And she's like, is that Cyborg? Right? Not being mean, but she was in awe. She was like, whoa. She thought she was like looking at a superhero.
Yeah.
Right? So kids are that. And I think that's what you're seeing. I think that's why also too, like, parents getting so frustrated about what they're trying to give kids too young is like, dude, my kids are seeing the world through their own eyes and you can't manipulate that to make yourself feel better about the way you identify.
But God, they try.
They try. And I think that's what's happening. And I think if you can't manipulate how a kid sees the world, you can just abort them. I'm just fucking kidding. No, but like that was fucked up. That's a good ass joke, but that's real dark.
It is, but God darn, I liked it. I needed that.
Why don't more infant formula companies use organic, grass-fed whole milk instead of skim? Why don't more infant formula companies use the latest breast milk science? Why don't more infant formula companies run their own clinical trials? Why don't more infant formula companies use more of the proteins found in breast milk? Why don't more infant formula companies have their own factories instead of outsourcing their manufacturing? We wondered the same thing. So we made ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.